Hello, hello. Welcome all.
Hi.
Amazing.
Hello.
Great to see you. Some known faces. I think that we're almost complete. Well, we're already going to start.
We're missing Laura.
Yeah, I see. But I thought she was in the backstage earlier, but okay. She will jump in. We can already start with introductions. Happy to hear from each of you. Just 1 minute each, where you present yourself and what you're doing, so that we all know where to start. Lizzie, please.
Well, I'm a publicist, and basically, what I do is turn people on to the different projects that are happening in our space. And I don't have to tell you that every day our space becomes more and more popular, and more projects need my help. And I am so happy to be living the dream where I take XR projects into the mainstream and get people turned on to the beautiful work that we all do here.
Amazing. So great. I just received a message from Laura at the same time. They will help us in the back office, backstage, to help her get in. It's an amazing job you're doing. And by the way, when on LinkedIn, you have the dolphins behind your names. And I also see behind you.
Sharks.
It's a sharks. Okay. So you're a shark.
You have to be aggressive out there, unfortunately, because especially being a publicist, it's not always the first time you knock that you get in. So you have to constantly come in and take little bites until you finally capture your prey. Dun, 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 dun.
We're going to talk about that. Michelle, welcome. I don't know if it's good morning, good evening for you, or something in between.
Day. Good day,
Okay.
right? My name is Michelle, guys. Hi, it's nice to meet you. It's nice to be here. I am a major proponent and advocate for using augmented reality as well as virtual reality to enhance human connection. I've seen the power, especially on the augmented reality side, where we can bridge the physical world with the virtual world in a way that absolutely captivates minds and really impressions upon the heart how awesome each other are, to bring in that relationship, to deepen that relationship. One of my first go-to experiences with this was a young girl who sent a greeting card to her boyfriend at the time, who was a soldier overseas. And when he watched her come alive and start talking to him on the card, he said it just rocked him to his core and made the oceans disappear between the two of them. And so that's kind of pretty much my why, because I was widowed when I was 34, and I actually feel that this is a calling of mine to step in and to provide that gateway for so many who are maybe just never aware that this is even out there, that this could really bring that magic connection that they're looking for. So AR is my game, but VR is also where we're heading for our small businesses.
Brilliant.
So that's who I am, and that's what I'm all about.
Love it. I think I should pronounce it Mashor or Namrata. Okay.
Absolutely. Good morning. Good evening. It's 12:20 at my end, though. Midnight.
Please introduce yourself.
Sure. Thanks. Hi, I'm Namrata from India. Hello to everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you, whichever part of the world you are in. And at my end, it's 12:20 midnight. And I'm very excited to be part of this panel. And first of all, I'm really touched by the work what my previous speakers spoke about, coming from military and connecting to souls, connecting to people. I mean that to one who's soldier. I mean, that's an amazing work, Michelle. Thanks so much for that. Being in military and having served in such kind of situations where you are absolutely away from family, you just feel disconnected. So I think VR and AR is doing amazing things in that. So what I'm doing right now, I'm an economist. I journal for socio-economic affairs globally. I've just completed one of my work in governance where entrepreneurship is on boom. When we see a lot of inflation going around and so many disrupted things after pandemic has shown us in every part of the world, why governance and organizations, entrepreneurship has taken the most important role as a long-term sustainable business. Second, I'm working on the microeconomics of economies of basically for South Africa and for India. And otherwise, I'm a strength finder coach. I am very passionate and I very strongly advocate strengths as these are the innate talents, and this is the DNA. And if you identify what is your innate talent, which is aligned with your emotions, which is aligned with your personal core values, you are able to break those patterns of DNA. So that is what profound this model of strength finder is all about, and I'm very very passionate about it, and I'm looking forward for how I can contribute in this wonderful panel. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Alice, welcome.
Thank you very much, Isabel, and it's a pleasure to be here. I'm actually based in Nairobi, Kenya. So I'm the founder and CEO of CryptSense Digital Group. So CryptSense is the first digital assets capacity building and management platform in Africa. So our mission and our vision is to empower both individuals and institutions on the entire facets of the digital asset ecosystem. There's a huge gap in Africa, especially when it comes to blockchain, Web3, digital asset management. Many institutions, individuals, startups lack the proper knowledge, the proper technical expertise, the proper partnerships, and even just the basic understanding of how the Web3 ecosystem works. So we build an institution that actually bridges this gap between Web2 companies and the blockchain ecosystem to give institutions a smooth transition as we are building in the new age of the digital revolution, of the fourth industrial revolution. So we have a learning management system that is very innovative, the first of its kind in the world. We've actually gotten global recognition. We got accelerated in Silicon Valley sometime last year, actually by Draper U. So we've gotten a lot of support. Been invited to actually even speak at the World Economic Forum about this new innovation. So it actually bridges the learn to earn and play to earn model, where we incentivize students and we gamified our courses and made it so much fun and interactive. And it's gotten so much traction, and it's really empowered people. So we have traction not just in Africa, but also in the United States, in Europe, and some parts of Asia also. So I'm really glad to be here, and it's a pleasure to interact with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and respect. Seriously, this is wow, amazing. Aileda, hi, welcome again. We met first time at European Summit, but I'm so happy to have you again with me in the panel. So please tell the others that haven't seen you yet or haven't met you yet who you are.
Thank you. So I'm super excited to be back with the GatherVerse again. Some of my first talks were on mental health. So our conversation today, humanity at the heart of business, is very near and dear to me for multiple reasons. One, because I've been a female business owner and entrepreneur in the United States for probably about 13 years now, roughly. And I pride myself in the fact of staying privy to the latest and the greatest things in the market. I'm connected with a group of global consultants. I will also say that anybody who has innovative solutions and technology or AI or anything, especially the females that are coming out of the GatherVerse today, please make sure that you have my contact information, because if you have a pitch deck or you're seeking funding in any way, this is something that myself and this group will look at everything in depth. And if we think that it is worthy, then we push forward to get things funded. That's very important for me and for us. And then, as I said, I also own a couple of companies myself. One is medical consulting and billing in the city of New York that came to be in the depths of the pandemic and everything that we were faced with there. So we were on the operational move and build out and design at a very rapid changing pace. So I have appreciation for everything that females bring into the equation, especially the metaverse equation, because essentially how I look at this from my quantum physics and neuroscience background is that we are completely developing, for lack of a better term, a new dimension. And I believe that this dimension has the ability to be a template that can be replicated on the physical plane as well as in the metaverse. And it is something that can be designed, visionary, and we can change systems that are, I don't even want to say broken, but let's say that are maybe archaic and they no longer work or function in today's world, and we can build something better. So I'm super grateful to be here with so much amazing talent and so many key players. Thank you, Isabel.
Thank you for being with us. And Laura managed to get in, so welcome as well. Happy to have you with us. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you so much. Yes, even tech companies have IT issues, so I appreciate it. I'm glad I was able to get in when I got in. But yes, my name is Laura Pisa. I am the CEO of Reboot Imagine. We are a next generation technology services support company. So, any type of AR, XR, VR technologies, we're the people you can come to implement those technologies, repair those technologies, and support those technologies. So as you can see, I'm in the office right now and I have bunch of 5 parts and older headsets, and that's what we do. We've been in the industry since the very beginning, and we really know the industry. We're a lot on the location-based entertainment side, so any type of immersive experiences, and that's truly where a lot of these companies and are really born. Entertainment always embraces kind of that immersive technology first. And now more and more, when you go to Chuck E. Cheese, Dave and Buster's, or even independent arcades, they're now adopting some sort of AR, VR experience, whether it's just, one of those machines you get in or like a full-blown free roam experience. So that's what I do. And I really bring, the organization of the company together and our teams to make sure that, we're all executing our vision. It's a really, really big pleasure to be here. And thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. And don't worry about technical issues. We know all about it. That's how we started today with some technical issues. So we get over that. So don't worry. So for those who didn't know yet, so my name is Isabel, and I represent GatherVerse Europe alongside some other organizations and companies, but today I'm mainly here as representing GatherVerse. So of course, our topic of today, humanity at the heart of business. Well, with 6 businesswomen around me, powerful businesswomen on top, that can only be a great panel coming up. So the first question I would like to tackle is, do you believe business in general has a thorough comprehension of humanity, or is it another hype concept created for the sake of business? Who would like to go for that?
I'll just take on it. It's a very wonderful and a very, very authentic and a credible question, Isabel. Allow me to, begin with it. We do business with people. And till the time we don't understand the credibility and authenticity of that particular person, and that comes only and only when they reveal their true self. Because we can be in that mask or in that facade only for a certain moment of time. And when we are, as it is, we all are ladies and we all are business ladies, already by virtue of that God's gift, we have that sixth sense. So that humanity factor is, when not seen, or when not felt, I definitely don't take a step ahead. And even if I understand that this kind of party is going to give me this kind of, partnership is going to give me those kind of profits, because I always go for people, I always go for relationships, long term relationships in business. And that's why credibility, authenticity, humanity plays pivotal role when it comes to me. Initially, definitely, it takes time to take that kind of boost in business. But I think after say 1.5 year, when we understand people, when we understand the partnership, when we understand stakeholders, it goes long term. And business has its ups and downs. The business women or a businessman, we all have our lonely journey of doing business. So in that case also, I see, apart from just earning profits or earning money, those kind of partnerships play a very boosting role to be going in that rough journey. I'll take a pause with this.
Yeah, totally. Who can relate with that or things like, yeah, please, Michelle.
So one of the things, when I mentioned earlier that I would feel like I was called into this realm, right? This realm to represent how we can use technology in a way to literally enhance our human connection. And so I see augmented reality, virtual reality, the metaverse, as it continues to unfold before us, right? I see it being a place where, yes, it's going to be amazingly cool and unique and fun. But yes, we need to come back to what is going to make people feel safe to transact business with one another in those spaces. So I believe authenticity is absolutely imperative. We have to find ways, and that's why one of the things that lately we've been doing is building VR workspaces for businesses to kind of use it as an introduction into the metaverse, so that we are able to be avatars, yes, but also be authentically us in that avatar. So it's kind of a unique blend of like the ability to take something as powerful as what we're doing right now, which is streaming live, right? So you're authentically you. I can tell you're authentically you because you're not putting on some cat filter right now, right? So I think that that's an important thing we need to keep in mind is, yes, the metaverse could be super fun and we could all be cartoon characters in there. Anybody can be anything that they want. It's like alter ego stuff, but that's not really, in my opinion, going to do well in the world of business, because why would you give somebody $50,000 to do business with you if you don't really even know if they're authentically them? So I believe that we need to keep that in mind as we build, to find ways to help business owners, especially, feel safe. I think it's an important thing, whether we do crypto, whether we're still kind of doing hybrids, whatever, doing transactional business in the metaverse. Yeah, we got to keep that in the forefront of our minds.
It gets boring, right? If there isn't humanity involved, it gets real boring, because the interaction is what makes it all come together, and that's where the connection becomes enriched. And without that, we're just robots, and that's just bland.
And I feel like it's possible to do it. I think that we just need to kind of go forward with humanity at the core of why we're building what we're building. It's meant to enhance our lives. It's not meant to remove our need for being authentically us.
So sorry.
Please.
Okay. I was just going to say, from my perspective, what I hear people using as the word authentic is what I would equate in neuroscience to being consciously aware. And so in neuroscience, and Lisi, I think you also said if it's going to be boring, we'll just all be robots, right? So I equate being a robot almost to like subconscious mind in neuroscience. So that the facts scientifically say that we're in subconscious mind 95% of the time. That's repeat programs. That's our quantum computer, essentially our brain running on a repeat program. So conscious only 5% of the time. That is the place where I would call it authentic self or intuition, which I also heard referred to. It is your spirit, essentially. It is what can guide and has the ability to program the computer and tell the brain what to do. whatever somebody wants to title it. In neuroscience, we would call it conscious awareness. But it's proven that it's not until you're consciously aware that you can make a new decision or a new choice, which is, again, what I would equate, right, to free will. New decisions and new choices aren't made until then. So I believe that we're made to be consciously aware more than 5% of the time. And my heart and my hope is that we're going to see developers like Michelle, things that I hear, right, are being created out there, where it's going to create more of something that is perhaps going to open heart coherence and logical mind and get them functioning and moving together. And then my theory is that we have a tendency to repeat history because we're probably running on autopilot or subconscious mind 95% of the time. So if we can wake ourselves up, we can be authentic, we can step into our spirit, however we want to word it, ladies, then there is that capability to change everything.
Totally. Alice.
Yeah. If I may add on to it, actually, I think it's great that we are looking at, business to business interaction or user interaction. I feel we also need to get inside and look at the business operations and also teams working inside, under us or within us in our organization, yeah, so that we can also have a humanity aspect as leaders, pass across to our team members. So I think if we look at how business has been running, probably from the 80s and in the 90s, because basically as leaders, we learn from the top leaders, right? We try to actually adopt the systems that they've been using in the past to run businesses as we are building right now. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's the right way and the correct way, yeah? Because we can see that businesses and leaders in the past over-indexed shareholder supremacy, sort of creating a finite mindset in as far as business operations are concerned, which in turn affects the team members, and lack of empathy, yeah, leads to a lot of suffering in the team, which affects productivity and at the same time also ends up affecting even, overall business operations. So it's important to also add the humanity aspect into the team that is building with you, yeah, so that we can be all inclusive, right?
Oh, I love that. And to add to that as well, I think, it really has to, like Vass said, it has to be a conscious effort. I think, one thing that I do with my team and one thing I try to look for is, background in, not only business, but also kind of customer service and human aspect, especially because of the space that we're in. You need to be able to communicate, that exciting and know that, the people we're working with, we do have that human customer service side, and that just makes people want to do business more, I feel. When you're really open and to work with clients and really, provide that success.
Vulnerability. I think women are
Yeah.
more willing to be vulnerable, which makes us real.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice one. Do you believe that today there is enough humanity in business or not enough?
I don't think there's enough in certain aspects, like especially in the XR space. I think a lot of times it's kind of too much focus on like the hardware, the software, what new things are coming, what technology, and it's not so much as, how can we implement, how, can we work together, how can we start here and build from there. I think that discussion still needs to be had. And I think it's there. It just needs to become more important. Like we said, it has to be kind of part of the operation, part of, even like onboarding when you're welcoming new teams or, pre-client meetings, making sure that you know about the business or the owner before you start the business.
Yeah. Please, Michelle.
So that's kind of why I started the Tech with Heart Foundation. It's a nonprofit organization focusing on helping small business owners remember to keep human first in everything that they do, whether it be technology related or strategy related. Just how are you making people feel? Think about those types of things. You know, people like they do business with people. We're not out here doing business with AI. AI is just meant to be a tool that creates more efficiencies that will bring us together quicker. And then the humanity conversation needs to start. It cannot all stay robotic for too long because, like she said, people will get bored, right? So that is one of the things that we're trying to do through our nonprofit, is to try and bring in more experts that are heart-centered to talk about business use cases, technology systems, and strategies that will indeed keep humanity at the heart of everything that we do. So I think that larger corporations, maybe they're losing a little bit of that sight of that humanity first, but I think that smaller businesses, like at least my goal, and I feel like I'm an advocate for them to start embracing this concept of the metaverse. But let's go into this ideation of entering into the metaverse to do business there by keeping human connection at the forefront of what we choose to do in that space. And again, going back to transparency, authenticity. So I think that's like maybe 50-50. I know in the metaverse area, it does not feel like it's a strong push right now. So hopefully people like us can make an impact and start shifting that mindset.
Why not?
Yeah.
Alice.
I actually think it's really beautiful right now. We are seeing a shift in the leadership that's coming, especially now with the new innovations. Yeah, we are seeing leaders who are coming out and saying, "Hey, the system didn't work the way it was in the past. It's not worked. So many people have suffered through it. We have a young generation who are, forming young companies, and basically they're learning from the experience that they watched their parents go through in large corporates. Yeah. And they're like, we really don't want to run our businesses the same way we watched our parents go through ABC. Yeah. So we are getting a new generation of leaders who are coming out to be more conscious, more empathetic, and coming out with more inclusive work environments where there are safe spaces that you can have these discussions openly with team members and make them feel included, make them feel safe, make them feel like, we are humans at the end of it all, as much as we are building. And I feel like technology companies are actually at a huge risk of losing the humanity aspect if we really are not conscious about it. Yeah, because it's all about numbers, it's all about hardware, it's all about software, right? It's all about, what can you build, how fast can you build, how much revenue can you generate, how many partners can you pull in, and we get lost in all those numbers, and it even affects mental health, yeah, which is a key aspect, especially in the technology field. Yeah, majority of people in the tech space suffer from a lot of mental health issues because of that. So we need to be very wary and conscious of it. And I'm glad we are getting leaders who are coming out more and saying, okay, let's work and let's play at the same time. Let's remember that we are still humans. Let's have a humanity aspect, in our organization as we are building. Yeah.
Very nice. Lizzie, when you talked earlier on about the sharks, how do you combine the sharks with humanity?
A human shark? How does that happen? How can a human be a shark? Well, as a publicist, to get attention from journalists so they could write about a project or write about a person, like I was mentioning before, it takes a certain amount of aggression. And that's where the whole shark thing comes into play. Clearly, I am not a shark. But I identify with the shark being a predator as far as getting the people that I need to look at the people that I need them to look at. So that's where the whole shark thing comes together. And as far as humanity is concerned, one of the most interesting things about what's happening in our technology is the gamification aspect of it all. And the gamification aspect is a great avenue for humanity.
It can be, indeed. Someone wants to add something to that?
Yeah, I definitely will. So from a neuroscience perspective and understanding that we're hardwiring or programming our minds and our brains, I'm a huge advocate for the development of games that give other alternatives, and not just other alternatives, but I mean, again, like, where are my coders, designers, my builders, my architects, the ones who see a limitless future for all that is good across the globe, right? Because it's going to take that out of the box thinking to create something that has the ability to not just compete with, but for lack of a better term, since it's wargaming, right, is what I'm referring to, is super popular across the globe. And we do have mass shootings and mental health issues and things that we're faced with, right? And a lot of these kids are being just like, they're raising themselves and programming themselves with this death and this war day in and day out. And so I want to see the development of things that are going to compete with that. I want to see the development of things that are going to be so good, like so good that these kids cannot get their hands off of it, right? Let's hook them on everything that is the potential in the quantum field to be endless possibilities of everything that's good. And like the war and the destruction and that being a focus, that's archaic. It's barbaric and it's no longer needed. And you're right, Alice, when you said like the people, the youth, right, of today, like they don't want it anymore. Like they're not buying into this anymore. They're not buying into the same programs that the prior, centuries have been driven on. So this is a pivotal point. Like this is an opportunity to completely change the playing field of humanity, like we said, on a whole. And also I'm a huge proponent and advocate of sustainability, everything that's humanitarian oriented right now. And those are all the types of projects that I have focus on. I have my hands in those pies and those projects globally with organizations that are doing exactly that. And I'm to a point where I don't touch anything else. I won't touch anything else unless it has that capability. So yeah, it's go time. It's go time.
I'll just add on here after listening to Alice how humanity even optimize, the cost. Because as a design thinking practitioner, whether being in tech or in HR, till the time you don't have a human connect, you don't understand the stakeholders, and you can understand the stakeholders only after having the empathy mapping being done. uh, any SOP which is being drafted, or for that matter, any technological tool which is being, made or innovated, will never be of any use till the time we don't have that kind of human connect. And that's where this humanity just being, considered as only a soft skill or just as a trait. Even in business, it ends up in optimizing our, cost. So that's where this humanity, empathy mapping, and user experience, be it in metaverse or in any other technological world, plays a very important role in cost optimization when we talk about business. Just wanted to give this flavor.
One of the things I'm looking forward to as we continue to advance along this narrative, actually, is to gather more input from younger audiences. Like we have through our foundation, we have a student apprenticeship program that we're going to be rolling out here very, very soon. That will hopefully give us an opportunity to start hearing from younger folks as far as what is it that they would like to see in their future in the metaverse. And I liked, Alida's opinion on. That they are saying no more. We don't want this stuff that is basically being given and offered to them by people who are only at it for the money, and they're not at it for obviously the betterment of humanity. And it's really kind of neat to see that from millennials and on those generations younger are kind of getting a little bit more woke up to just materialism and marketing and schemes and how they can be pretty much kind of duped, to believe that is real or that is their only options. And so I'm going to do my part, I know, to start gathering that data and start building. And I just hope that this narrative doesn't just fall flat with this conversation here today. I just would love to see more companies taking that and seeing how we can, again, go back to using technology to enhance humanity, not just to make it fun. Gamification is key here, though, but making it and finding out even from the younger audiences, like what would be some incentives for them, right? What is it that they want to know and hear from us, the builders, because they're not in a position, they're not financially in a position, or even maybe technologically in a position to build. But I know that my like young nieces and stuff, they love those building apps. They love to build environments, you know, and that is what keeps their mind busy. So I know that there is a place for this. It's just we have to keep talking loud about it and seeing if we can get some big advocates to start moving.
Agreed. Yeah, and the statistics actually show this. I mean, that's the thing. So when you look at mental health on an overall whole, you know, that's one element. But really, when you look at the generations, like you talked about, millennials and on up, the super educated kids and youth of today's world are making conscious choices and decisions to decide they don't want to have children at this stage. And that's a mass global problem that we now have as well. So as people are waking up, that's a clear sign of no more. Like, we don't want any more of this, right? Like when our youth of today does not feel comfortable bringing children into the world, that's a problem. We better wake up. We better change a few things.
No, and I really like that, Michelle, you're working on like data and like surveys directly through students, because kind of how we talked about before, that, you know, you actually kind of need some of that data and, you know, feedback directly from the people that are going to be impacted. That's really, you know, putting humanity forward. So I love that. And I'm excited to see, you know, the data you gather from that.
Well, it's exactly as I say, like we have different kinds of generations, and each generation has its own characteristics, where we see, of course, the baby boomers who had other needs, wants, put it other things first, compared to generation Y, Z, even X, and everything after that. So we do see a big shift, not only in the needs and the wants, but also in the values, and that exactly adds up to what we were talking about. But that's also can be an issue, because what is happening today, all these universes that have been created or are being created, what we often see is that they just build, and then they invite the community to come over, instead of first like building for the community. We need to put ourselves at their level. You always need to meet people at their level for understanding, so that we also know and be a bit more humble from our generation and older generations, so that we know what to create for the future generations to come. Because it's when sometimes we wonder, like, oh, this or that platform is lacking visitors or is almost empty. Well, imagine that I would build a house somewhere, I don't know, on an island, according to my flavors, my likes, and then I would tell you, well, now you come and live there, where you're like more a mountain person, or you don't even want to be there. And that's exactly the same what they're doing today. So what can we do better for the future generations to come? Where do you think we can make a change?
We go back to humanity. We go back to people chiming in, and people chiming in makes all the difference.
Absolutely right. I think we should use the model of, a pull model of demand instead of pushing our what we want to do.
Yeah.
That's very, very important. Understanding what is, because otherwise what we are there to offer them, they might not need that. Again, it will be of no use. So they might come, they might use it for, for a few days or for a couple of months, but then it will be of no use. That process, that technology, that entire interface that we have created for them will be of no use. So pull model is going to be more benefiting rather than just pushing our things.
Yeah, and listening to feedback from the actual users. I think part of it is, sometimes, the developers of these sites, they're so set in an idea and this is what they want to do and this is what it's supposed to do. But when the people actually use it and they say, well, this and this could be better, then it's like, oh no, that's not what we're supposed to do. So I think having that human aspect and having people who are really, that's what they're doing, is listening to community feedback, like community managers are so important. We recently added a community manager to our team as well, and we're already seeing, the benefits of having someone more in that space. Me being the CEO and, our executive team, we just don't have that time. So we're investing in that for ourselves.
I know that we're currently building a world for business. It's an entrance into the metaverse. It's kind of it's not on Web3, obviously, right? So we're building, and it's going to be a VR 3D networking, co-working, and also event space. But we're, like I said, bringing in that transparency, authenticity of allowing video streaming to incorporate into the avatars. I think that we're kind of just now rolling out more business use case models in the metaverse, whereas the others seem to be far more into the gaming, the gamification, or just like play in this space and go build your own world kind of thing. And so I'm excited to be in the position to start asking more questions and authentically listening too. Like I want to hear why we should build it that way versus this way that we thought, taking that input, but knowing that now we're talking about using it for a completely different reason than it was possibly even thought of, 6 years, 7 years ago, right? So I'm excited about where we're heading, because I see for small businesses, I'm trying to empower them to be just effective in our online world today, with systems and strategies. Now let's talk about opening that door to the metaverse and adding another positioning for you as a business to grow and potentially even be, seen as an emerging company because you're in the metaverse. So it's a very exciting time. But yeah, we definitely have to listen, ask, tons of asking and collecting data, and then compiling that data, and then building with that intention. Their desires in mind is going to be what's going to make the shift.
If I may add also, let's give our children a voice. Yeah. I have a beautiful 15-year-old daughter. She's been an avid gamer for like the past 6 years. Yeah. So she's a huge fan of games. She spends a lot of time playing Roblox. So currently I'm handling a project where we are building a metaverse experience aligned with SDGs. So I went back to her and I asked her, Zaria, so you love gaming. Can you please give me an interesting story that I can actually, build with my team in as far as showcasing Africa's beauty is concerned in the game? And she gave me an incredible story of how it will happen. I couldn't believe it. In fact, I was taking notes and writing it down, And when I sat down with my team, actually, and we've been iterating and discussing this, and the same thing my team is actually mentioning, I'm connecting with what she actually said. And I'm like, yes, so we also need to give our children a voice, because they are the ones that are going to be using these platforms moving forward. These platforms that we are building are going to benefit them the most. And they have been born in the digital age where they've interacted with these devices, with these games for quite, more than 10 years plus, more than a decade. Yeah. So they are actually really good and very creative at it. So we need to also go back and remember that we need to give our children a voice also. Yeah.
Totally.
I love that.
Now, we were talking about data a bit before. Do you think that data today is used in a humanity first way? Because it's important to have certain data, but I kind of have the tendency to say that for the moment it's going way the other side. yeah, it's in fact it's not about data. It's merely a mass manipulation weapon, because if you have the data, you can manipulate the people. So in what sense do you think that we should how should we deal with those data?
Well, that's ultimate humanity, isn't it? But
Yeah,
humanity in evil sense,
yeah,
because you're using the information from the humans to attack the humans.
yeah.
So data is not anti-human, it's superhuman. It's how you use the data that's going to differentiate what is done with it or how
Yeah,
it's
but it's also how you interpret the data, right? A lot of the times you're getting data, but you don't know what the context is. You know, what is it? Correlation, not causation, right? So you really need the actual teams in place to look behind that data and be like, okay, so why are we not getting as many users as we were thinking? You know, what are the times? Things like that. I think, you know, you need a lot of background in order to actually have the data you need and be able to explain the data, because, you know, if you have investors or, you know, other partnerships, you need to be able to explain this without, you know, just pumping out numbers, and really seeing, you know, talking to the teams behind, you know, the scenes. I think that's incredibly important.
I think I see this as being a company-wide question, because you can say data as a whole, it is neither good nor evil. It is just data. And so it really comes from the intention behind why are we collecting this data and what is our intention for using this data. And so like artificial intelligence, right? It's meant to help our world be more efficient, and also perhaps be more helpful, like in the way of like an AI assistant, right? To be able to like chop your wasted time down so that you're able to get more. But there's some creepiness in how much they could potentially know about all your inner thoughts, like why are you, whoa, how'd you know? So there's that fine line where we have to make sure that we aren't crossing the line and could potentially flip the switch and use it for evil, or making people feel safe with letting us collect their data because they know who we are as a company, as a brand, and why, you know, because there's that trust factor again, you know, that people are going to have to get over in order to say, yes, you can have all my data, all my thoughts, all, you know, that is going to be a creepy, crawly process,
Yeah.
because there's just too much abuse and there's too much evil, you know,
We'll
technology.
see. We're going to see that really come to fruition when Apple drops its headset. And we all know what Facebook and Meta does with our data. And obviously, Apple also accrues our data. But the difference is the trust factor. We tend to trust Apple more than Mark Zuckerberg. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, so I think we just have to be loud with our intention. Be loud, because like through my Tech with Heart Foundation, a lot of people know that I am somebody that tries to be as authentic as possible, transparent as possible. But when it came for me to do an AI survey, for them to like turn on their camera and let us track their eyeballs to see what's really working in any kind of a messaging through video storytelling, yeah, very, very few people were okay with that, even though they knew it was coming from me. So we definitely have a curve here. We have to figure out how to help people feel safe.
Yeah. And it's about neuro rights, right? So, like, neuro rights are a thing that needs to be addressed globally across all countries. The UN should be involved in some sort of an agreement process with this. It's inevitable. Like, it's already too late. It should have already been addressed, really, right? But it needs addressed. And who gets that data, and what is that data, and what does that data consist of, and where is that data stored? And you can keep going down that rabbit hole for a very prolonged period of time. But when I think about data in general, I think about algorithms, just algorithms, right? And there's a difference between broadcasting and public broadcasting, because that's also programming, and an algorithm. An algorithm to me is something that spits back to you your generalized thought process. So I actually use it as a training tool. Hey, how about you scroll through your social media? What are you primarily seeing coming back at you from a neuroscience perspective? What is that? And if it's primarily negative, then that's telling you what you're drawn to the majority of the time, because it's just spitting back to you like a mirror, what you're primarily focused on, right? So use it as a wise tool in that capacity up to this point and program yourself wisely. Know what you're looking at and what you're getting into. When it comes to public broadcasting, my opposition with it is it's primarily showing us, especially news stations globally, all of the doom and the gloom in the world. When I say, hey, eureka, like it's like news flash out here, right? Just because they're using the camera to chase down all of the things that are happening that are the doom and the gloom does not mean that that's what the world consists of. And that's where we're smoke screened. That's the veil, right? So if people can get consciously aware and step outside their front door and realize that actually the majority of the world is going to reach out to help you. There's just as many miracles, if not more, and more lives being saved every single day than there is all of this doom and gloom. So once people start to wake up and understand that, then it's kind of like game over, for lack of a better term. Like it's game over at that point. So just use the algorithms and the data that's coming through to you. I tell people wisely, pay attention to where your focus is at. And it's going to be a wild ride.
But there is also the part of
that's very important. What I have come across while what you said, Isabel, and being from Europe, it was a challenge for us to collect data from European countries while we were creating
on the GDPR.
systems. Yeah, even the date of birth was a challenge because of the legislative policies and because of the legal policies, and the we really took literally, I mean, a year had gone to take all that kind of sanction while working in Genpact, and we were rolling out the entire exit progress process for the entire employees, for all the employees globally. So it is definitely one disruption as well in the industry, and that is why again framework and ethics need to be followed when we talk about data, because anyone and everyone, like what Lisi said, that anyone and everyone would not be very comfortable in sharing their personal credentials, just like what we have already seen what Facebook is into, thick soup. So really those kind of frameworks, depending upon those geographical locations of the globe, really need to be known to the leaders to have these things done in a very seamless way, in a very positive ways, in an intentional way, what we are trying to do. And that becomes a challenge when we are trying to do all these kind of things in a global way.
Yeah, totally. I see that we already are almost, not yet, but in 5 minutes already at the end, because time is flying. Yeah. So before I give everyone like their last moments with the last recommendations or thoughts, I just want to add that as what Aileda said as well, it's very important, but therefore critical thinking should also be considered, which is something that we don't see that often anymore. And we should teach our children how to think and no longer what to think. So that's something I wanted to add, but now it's all up to you, ladies. I would love to hear from each of you a final word with your recommendations, your vision, your ID. Please, Alice.
I would actually like to see us leaders be more conscious. Yeah. Let's talk about mind, body, and soul. Your thought process needs to be aligned. You need to actually feel into the experience that you're creating and also connect with your intuition, right? Let's be more grounded. Let's be more empathetic. Let's create experiences that are inclusive for all. It doesn't matter your culture, your background, your race, your religion, your age, like let's be more wary and more conscious that we are in a new system right now. We are the innovators building for the future generation moving forward, and we are basically the disruptive builders who are more conscious and building solutions that are solving real world problems and disrupting systems that never worked in the past. So let's stand, let's be firm at it. Like Lisi said, let's shout, let's be more loud about it, because this is what is going to create a better world and a better connected humanity space for all. Yeah.
Thank you. Ailida.
I'm just going to jump in with you on the critical thinking and visionary thinking of the future. And it was pointed out by every single one of you here today. And it's also something that runs rampant through corporate America. And that is people not asking the people who are actually in the positions, the people who are going to be the users, the people who are going to be on deck for being the hands-on people who are doing the work, that they're never consulted, they're never asked, it's built for them. You guys pointed that out, it's built for them, right? And that's never gonna be a conducive design that's gonna work moving forward. So just visionary thinking, having the foresight for the future and what we want for our future, all of our futures.
Brilliant. Lisi.
I'm just looking forward to what this technology is going to do to the arts, entertainment, how cinema is going to change, how theater is going to change, and just that evolution, that paradigm shift, not unlike what we saw turning into the 20th century. So I'm looking forward to Hollywood 2.0.
Brilliant. Michelle.
Well, I just want to say to anybody that's tuning in to this because you're interested in learning more about this metaverse, thank you to Christopher Lafayette for putting the GatherVerse together so that we can have these types of conversations. However, we want to hear from you. Like, ask us good questions. Let us guide you, and just please be open-minded to what is coming, because it is indeed coming. And we have right now an opportunity to start shifting the intention behind what we build. So let us hear from you, please, and don't shut it down just because it's different, new, and potentially scary, because technology is our future for sure. It can be used for amazing good, and it can also be used for really bad evil. So that this tribe right here, we're dedicated to using it for good. So join forces with us, and let's have some conversations, and let's just keep staying open to our future.
Brilliant. Laura. You're on mute, sorry.
Sorry, I love this. This was so insightful. And I think, part of, keeping humanity is these talks like this, being able to connect with, other, leaders in the space, because at the end of the day, we're all in business, and business doesn't have to always be boring. We have to keep some humanity in it. Otherwise, what's the point of being in and day out, just, transactional, instead of, like we talked about, authentic business.
Brilliant. Major Namrata.
I wanted you to say my name. That's why I was waiting. No, that's okay. On the light side. First, I really resonate well with Michelle that there's a wonderful community, and please ask. Like all the kind of intense, potential, intelligent questions. We are all there to answer them. Getting influenced with Ellis and Laura, I just wanted to say that never lose faith on humanity. It's a big ocean. It's a very big ocean, and even if few drops are dirty, the ocean will never be dirty. So that's very, very important. And I just believe a lot in humanity, and that's how we all are connected, I think, being in absolutely different parts of the world. So never ever lose faith in humanity. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you all. Namaste. And good night and a good day to all of you. And we keep definitely in touch.
Thank you.
You.
Be well. Bye-bye.
God bless.
Bye-bye.